Well, you were actually coming up from a pretty big year. I mean, going into 2020, because you actually had a tour with opening up for Rita Ora in Australia. So, what'd you take out of that experience when you were on tour with her?
Yeah, I sure did. And that seems like a whole lifetime ago now, which is crazy. So that was early 2019. Yeah. Honestly, it was one of the best experiences of my life. It was all so uh, fast paced and random. Like, I really only got told officially that it was happening a week before we actually had to fly for the first show. So everything, yeah, it was wild. So everything was
Yeah.
really kind of touch and go, and I had to learn a lot. And I think the biggest thing I learned was trusting the process and kind of just not not having control of every single tiny aspect of everything that was going to happen, because it was completely impossible for me to be able to do that with such a short amount of time to prepare everything. So
Yeah.
yeah, I learned a lot from that experience.
Well, and you got a chance to, perform at some awesome venues. So I was just curious, like, what venues would you like to headline at?
Oof. I've been asked this question before, and I I never know, because I just go, like, I don't care where the venue is. I just would love to have the opportunity to play to as many people as possible.
Uh,
Like, I don't care if I'm like in the middle of a park or in the middle of the desert. Like, I just think it's so awesome to be able to be
oh
on
yeah,
stage. You know what I mean? So
oh yeah,
it'd be awesome to play Coachella or something.
oh
Like,
yeah.
yeah, that would be a goal.
How about geographic location? Is there a certain country or region that you would like to perform at?
Mm, I know this is so random, and I don't even know if there's like, you know, a huge music industry here, but I would love to play in like Norway. I don't know why.
Okay.
I just
Before you actually got into music, you were actually a dancer. So what made you change careers from your interest in being a dancer to being a full-time musician?
Yeah, this is an interesting kind of part of my journey and my story. Basically, and I'm really open about this, but I was hospitalized for anorexia, and it was kind of the stage where I was starting to take dance really seriously, and I was kind of, I would have been 16. Yeah, I would have been 16. And yeah, the hospitalization was sort of forced upon me. Like, I didn't know it was going to happen. I was very much, running towards this dancing goal, and I didn't realize how sick I was until I was hospitalized. And then I started writing in hospital, and just my thoughts, just how I was feeling, just what was going on, just a way to express myself. I was on bed rest, forced bed rest for 5 of the 6 weeks, or maybe 4 of the 6 weeks. It was a long time. And so I really didn't have anything else to do. I really didn't know how to get out what I was feeling. It was a really awful experience. And I did a lot of self reflection, and it was very isolating. So that's where I started to write. And as I came out of hospital, I kind of found this new sense of purpose and started learning the guitar. And I don't know, it just happened. Like, it just kind of forms into, what if I did this properly? What if I actually like asked someone how to do this and put songs together, and
Yeah,
is that a thing? And I
yeah,
started talking to people, and um yeah, it's a weird thing. I just never thought it would be a thing that I would do.
yeah, yeah.
It's really interesting.
So are you trying to also get into other instrumentals besides playing the guitar?
I've recently started learning the piano, but I wouldn't say I'm I wouldn't say I'm there yet with it. My boyfriend is also an artist, Gabriel Paris, and he can play every instrument you can think of:
Oh, nice.
cello, like guitar, piano, everything. So he's teaching me a little bit, and I'm loving that. It's really cool.
You actually started your own mobile cafe business. So how'd you get into that?
Yeah, I did. It's crazy. So how did I get into that? That's a great question. As I came out of hospital, I was, I don't know. I actually had to quit school. So that's where I started. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm like going back 10 years, need to
Yeah.
remember. Um, quit school because it wasn't working for me mental health wise. I really needed to restart. So I got a full-time job at a cafe. And I was kind of just working, and I realized that I hated it. Like it was so soul crushing to work in a cafe as a 17-year-old, and just, I had all this creativity inside me, and I went from, loving dance to, ah, just so much creativity and so much passion to just serving people in a cafe. And not that there's anything wrong with people that do that, but for me, it was this burning passion to do something more.
Yeah.
Anyway, and, I was talking to my mum one day, and we came into some sort of inheritance, and we wanted to do something with that. And so we decided to start our own business. And I ran it with her and my partner at the time, and we just had a lot of fun with it. We just built it up from the ground. It was something that was our own. I put a lot of passion into it. I worked it to the ground. Like, we worked so hard on that. And all up, I think I worked it for about, I think it was 7 years in total that we did that for.
Oh, wow.
And it helped me save up for every release, every single that I put out over the same time, because I was doing music and I was also studying at the same time. So, it helped me pay for music for a little while, which was awesome.
So what was the name of the business?
It was called the Little Street Café.
Little Street Cafe. I like that. When I heard about that, I never heard of a mobile cafe business, but I was like, I should start that around here.
Really? Where are you based?
I'm in South Florida. But yeah, plenty of people just need coffee. I don't think people really want to go out anywhere too, especially to cafes. So, having coffee brought to you is an amazing idea.
I am so shocked that that's not a thing in America already, because
Oh, yeah.
I've been on this for like I said, like, it'd be 10 years now since I started the coffee van, and now it's everywhere in Australia. Honestly, like, not just where I started, Sydney, everywhere. It's crazy.
Yeah, you practically owned that idea. I think you
I did. I actually did.
Yeah, you own this idea. Like, I think you could follow something like, hey, I should get a piece of everyone's.
Yeah, 100%, like a royalty cut.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, talk about really being devoted to it. I even saw like a video of you having a van that was a custom built coffee van. So it was pretty much your own invention that you made. Like, how do you even make that?
Well, I'm very, very short. I know my photos don't look like I'm short. I have very talented photographers, but I'm very short. So we had to kind of customize the whole thing. So we actually just got in contact with someone in Sydney, and he actually built the van.
Oh, man.
To my measurements. Yeah, well, it was necessary, because it's like, usually they do it in these big, I don't know if you have this particular, I'm sure you've got Mercedes. There's big Mercedes kind of vans, but we put it in a VW caddy. I don't know if you guys have VW caddies. Yeah. Anyway, so it was like a smaller version of a van, just to fit Sammy-sized me.
I love the idea. I'm really gonna ponder this idea. I have a Toyota Prius, so it's a small vehicle, but it has a nice hatchback. But yeah,
Nice.
when I saw like your custom made van, I was thinking, how can I put that into my Prius and just drive around and give people coffee? Like, I'm sure you brighten people's day with just some nice good coffee in the morning. Oh yeah.
I was the coffee lady or the coffee girl, and they were like, "Coffee lady's here! Oh my god!" And I'd be like,
man.
"Okay." Crazy. I couldn't have a day off because people would get so upset.
Well, I mean, part of my dream was to always be a barista too. So, like, I always wanted to like work at a coffee shop and just because you're kind of like a bartender also because you get to hear people's problems and people talk to you and
Yeah,
stuff
like
like
a
that.
hairdresser. I
Oh
think
yeah.
you've just found your calling. I think this
Oh
chat
yeah.
has just like figured you out.
Oh
You're
yeah.
welcome.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. Custom made coffee van barista.
That's awesome.
I've heard that you like to challenge yourself with controversial topics, and you mentioned earlier about mental health. What do you find challenging about that issue?
I think for a little while, especially when I started writing music, personally, the challenge was that, am I allowed to talk about this? Am I going to embarrass my family? Am I going to be seen as the girl who recovered from this, or the girl
Yeah.
that's struggling with this? And so that was the personal challenge. But I think like the general challenge is, how is this going to be received in general, from the people that are listening, or the
Yeah.
people that I'm maybe trying to impress, or, the industry and things like that. So But I do think that the topic, when I say that they're controversial, I mean that they're topics that, when someone says, "How are you?" you don't go, "I'm doing okay, but I had a bad day yesterday and I
Yeah.
cried for 3 hours." And
Oh
do you
yeah.
know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's not what people do. You just go, "Good, thanks. How are you?"
Yeah.
So that's why it's controversial to me. It's just, and I just think it'd be great if people were a little bit more honest, and obviously time and place and person. But
Uh-huh.
um, yeah, that's the challenge for me, I think.